Good morning. I literally just woke up, and I mean just woke up. I've been sleeping so late lately because I can't fucking sleep. So am I sleeping late, or am I just laying in bed in some type of strange dream state? So I couldn't fall asleep. Every time I started getting comfortable, something brought me awake. And it's been happening for the past like week, so I'm assuming there's just a lot of activity in my brain because I've been doing so much more and I have so much more to do, so I'm anxious about getting stuff done on time. Not anxious, actually. I'm not going to use the word anxious because I'm not anxious at all. I feel like for the first time in so fucking long, I am like 100% not anxious, and I think it's because I'm just like, I'm not forcing anything. I'm just doing what happens and not worried about saying too much and saying too little. I'm just like saying what I want to say, so it's just like, I don't know, it's fine. Anyway, so I haven't been sleeping. I think it's probably in a lot of ways like an excitement thing, like not being able to sleep the night before Christmas because you're thinking so much about it. So it's probably actually like that. But I also had a lot of nightmares. So at some point I flipped over and put my head this way and my feet were at the head of the bed, which is something I do randomly that sometimes works, and it just kind of switches me up a little bit, I think. You know what the problem is? I've been working in bed a lot because it's so comfortable. So instead of like sitting up in a chair or on the couch or at one of my desks, I'm like in bed because it's like cozy and comfy, and then it's time to go to bed and it's like there's no change there. So I need to make a really conscious effort not to work in bed. I know that, did it anyway, but I want to tell you about my nightmare. The one that I remember, because I had a lot of nightmares all night and they were so strange, but the one that really fucked me up was I was in this house and I kept trying to get out of the house and I kept ending up in the house. And then at one point, after I'd escaped this house like 50 times, I looked behind me and there was some type of water spillage with some type of electrical cords, like something that was the immediate feeling of, oh, you're going to get electrocuted. So I did. I darted for the door. I darted for the door. And as I opened the door and I was looking down, there were no stairs or very, very steep stairs. And then I felt myself get electrocuted, and I felt it. The part of me that was conscious that it was a dream was thinking, are you feeling this in your dream because you're dying in real life? So I was laying in bed like, oh my God, am I actually dying? I'm dying in this dream. Am I actually dying? And then I looked down and I didn't fall, but it was just this feeling of being completely still and kind of floating over the place where I was about to plummet to my death. And I was so scared. And then I woke up and I just couldn't get back. I couldn't get back to normal because I just kept worrying that I was actually dying. It was such a bizarre sensation though. It's honestly unlike anything I've ever felt. You know when you feel something in your dream and it's because something's happening in real life? Like if you're dreaming that something happened to your arm, it's because you're sleeping on it and it fell asleep. Or you feel something about your foot and it's because your dog's licking it. Or hello. Oh. My camera died this morning mid-story, and oh my God, Fred, I'm so sorry, come here. Oh, he'll come back in a minute. My camera died this morning, and then I was just editing, and then we went to Home Depot and we got some stuff for the balcony and for the podcast room, and then I recorded the podcast, and then I just had to, come here, hey, you already forgot that I hit you with the stool on accident? Hi, come here, come here. Come here. Anyway, I was editing and it was a 30-minute vlog. Why are you circling my feet? You want up? Hi. Nope, he doesn't want up, he wants a snack. Let me tell you about my conundrum at night. So I really want some water right now. I'm thirsty. And I know that when I go to bed, I'm gonna be like, I'm thirsty. But I also have to pee all the time, all through the night, and that sucks. By the way, guys, can I tell you one of my most embarrassing intimate childhood stories? I feel like I might have told this somewhere. When I was about 11 years old, maybe I was 10 or 11. In fact, oh my God, it's in my old diary. Where the fuck is my old diary? Hold on. You can actually see the first pages are ripped out because the first thing that I wrote in here was about how I wet the bed, and I was so... That was so fucking weird. I was like about to hiccup or yawn and I tried to hold it in and keep talking. And then I literally fucking malfunctioned. Anyway, I ripped it out because I was so embarrassed and I was afraid that somebody would find it. I also wrote in this obnoxious colored pencil that changed the color as you wrote with it, and I kind of want to get those again. Hey, future me editing this, look those pencils up on Amazon and get yourself some changing colored pencils. Anyway, back to the embarrassing story. I peed myself when I was 10 or 11 years old, like way too old to pee yourself, and I had never done it before. I never ever had problems like potty training. I never even remembered wearing Pampers or a diaper. Like I had been so far past that stage of my life, but for some reason, for whatever reason, I fucking peed myself. I remember I told the story on my Patreon because I remember the reason and the day that I remembered it. Anyway, so I woke up in the morning and everybody was getting ready for school and I was absolutely covered in pee, of course, as happens when you pee yourself. My mattress was soaked, my sheets were soaked, and I was trying to find a way to clean it without anybody knowing because I was so ashamed and so embarrassed, like absolutely humiliated, mortified. If anybody ever knew, my mom, my dad, my sisters, nobody could ever know. This was literally my best kept, longest kept secret. Like this is the first time I'm talking about this. So I didn't want anyone to find out. I took off my sheets and I remember my mom asking me why I was washing my sheets and I think I said they smelled weird or something. And then I poured water onto my mattress and just hoped nobody noticed. And I felt so much shame every time I went to bed for years. Literally. When I was laying on it, the feeling that I had was like when not when, I've never murdered anybody, but if you murdered somebody and buried them in your backyard, like every time you step foot in your backyard, you're like, oh, there's a dead body in here. That's how I felt laying on my mattress as a kid. So much fucking shame, so much fucking embarrassment over peeing myself. But the thing that it fucked me up for the rest of my life, and I didn't even notice it until recently. Recently, a friend told me about it and I was like, oh my God, that's why I do that. When I go to bed, I have to pee like 10 times. So like I wash my face, get ready, go pee, go lay in bed, sit up on my phone for a minute, then I have to go back and pee again. And then I lay back in bed and if I don't fall asleep soon enough or if I toss and turn too much, I have to go pee again. And I finally realized the reason I have so much trouble falling asleep without peeing 90 times is because psychologically for so many years, I was so terrified of peeing myself again because it was so random that it happened. There was no reason that I should have peed myself. So if it happened this one time and I have no idea why it happened, who's to say it won't happen again? Who's to say it won't happen in a friend's house? Who's to say it won't happen if I have a guy sleeping over? Who's to say it won't happen on somebody's couch? Who's to say, like, literally it was traumatizing for me over what? And I remember my best friend in college, I'm not gonna out her, but she used to literally pee in guys. She used to pee in dudes' beds all the time. Just because she was like drinking and falling asleep, and she did it like multiple times. And one time she brought this guy one time she brought this dude's sheets home. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And she was like, oh, I have to wash his sheets because I peed his bed. And I was like, what? And she was like, oh yeah, I do it all the time. And she was like the hottest girl in the world. That's why she got away with it. She was the hottest girl in the world. It's like everyone knows if you have her over, she's gonna piss in your bed, but it doesn't matter because she's so hot. Oh, I miss my college friends so bad. Yeah, we need to catch up. I need to catch up with my high school best friend too. We had so many plans to see each other this year. She lives in Oregon. I had this other embarrassing story when I was a kid. I'll tell you 2 more stories. I had this one embarrassing story when I was high school, it must have been. It was probably my sophomore year or something. And I wanted to sing, and my mom always had us auditioning for local theater, and when we would do that, we would record ourselves on a cassette tape so that we could listen to it back and practice. And I also would audition for dance team, and we would get our music by copying the music onto cassette tapes. So I'm sure you see where this is going. One day I was at like all the popular girls' house. I was already so awkward because I wasn't used to being around friends and girls. I was always so aware of like myself and trying to be cool, which made me the least fucking cool person in the world. But the girl whose house it was like, oh no, like I don't have my tape. I left it wherever the fuck I left it. And I was like, I have mine. And we all know where this is going. So they put in the tape and it's like a minute, 30-second dance like, You guys wanna see something? My fourth grade, first dance I ever learned, cheerleading dance. I want to love you, PYT, pretty young thing. You need some loving. TLC to the 11 cat. Why do I know it? I'll never forget it, I'll tell you what. Anyways, it was like a fucking minute and 30-second dance. That ends, and all of a sudden, blaring out of the speakers into the street, into the neighborhood, I'm cold and I am ashamed. So that was, oh my God, guys, look, wait, Freddie yawns like a psychopath. Look, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. See his tongue? He's gonna yawn. I wanna show you in real time though how fucking long it's gonna take him to yawn. Be patient, it's gonna happen. Trust me. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh God, here it comes. Don't make me look stupid. I think we just had a saying bless you before they sneeze type situation. I'll insert a very funny clip. You're such a weird boy. What is wrong with you? Do something. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you one more embarrassing story. And this is probably up there with like the most mortifying moments of all time. So my family and I, like, sex is not a conversation, period. Never talked about it, never learned about it, never shared about it. Like, it was very much wait till marriage or you're a slut vibes. So it was completely not a conversation. But one time when I was in college and I was living at home, I can't believe I'm telling this story on the internet. I bought my first vibrator. I think most girls know what I'm talking about when I say when you buy your first vibrator, it's like pink, sparkly, like we're not talking about a bullet, it's like a fucking vibrator. So I was at home for college, I was chilling in my room and my mom came in and she was actually really sweet about it. Honestly, she was. She was like, hey, Gabby, I'm sorry, I accidentally opened your package. It was in the pile with all of my packages, so I was just opening up my packages, but it's yours, I'm really sorry I opened it. And I was like, what is it? And I opened it, and in front of my mom, who had already opened it, I pulled out a probably like 7-inch insertable, probably like a 7-inch pink sparkly vibrator. And the reaction that came out of my body is so bizarre and indescribable, but also I guess makes perfect fucking sense when somebody's like repressed and shamed for their whole life about sex and has Catholic guilt. I started screaming bloody murder. I was so embarrassed, and then all of a sudden all of these things just kept coming out of my mouth, like my boyfriend bought that for me as a joke or a prank, and he did it because he knew that if you opened it that it would be embarrassing for me. Like the dumbest shit. Humiliated. And that's my most embarrassing moment, and it's yours now. Oh, guess I'm having nightmares again tonight.